don't really watch much NHL hockey. I just don't. I'm nothing against it. I actually like hockey. But this is a sport that has been known to be rather violent, has been known to somewhat glamorize the fighting aspect of it. And I know that from just, playing Nintendo games since 1988. And there would be NHL games where it's like, okay, now you get to fight in it. It's like outside of the game. I'm like, oh my God, what is this?
Well, I grew up in Minnesota and I was raised around hockey. I went to hockey games 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And fighting, the gloves come off and they just start beating the shit out of each other. And it's perfectly acceptable. Violence is something you see in a lot of sports that we idolize in America, at least.
Yeah. This is interesting because I got to understand better how this all took place. This is something that is certainly rocking the world of hockey in the NHL. Player Adam Johnston lost his life due to a fatal neck injury inflicted during a game. This just happened the other week. Authorities in England arrested a man on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with Johnston's untimely death. Adam Johnston, 29, was playing for the Nottingham Panthers in a Champions Cup game against the Sheffield Steelers on October 28th. When this tragedy took place, a fatal injury occurred when the blade of a skate cut Johnston's neck, leading to immediate treatment on the ice and subsequent transportation to a nearby hospital. Sadly, he was pronounced dead. South Yorkshire Police did not disclose the suspect's identity or age, but he is currently in police custody. So we're assuming here this is the other player that had the skate that cut his neck?
Matt Petgrave is his name. He is the one whose foot potentially killed this man. And I don't, and we'll continue with the story, but this is a slippery slope. In sporting events, you are allowed to hit people. You are allowed to run into them. You're allowed to fight. You're allowed to do all kinds of things. Look at boxing. If somebody drops to the ground because they took a huge hit to the head and they die because of a brain bleed, are you then liable for their death? Are you charged with involuntary manslaughter then?
Oh, shit. I just watched the video.
It's not good.
He did like a Mortal Kombat, like high kick on the guy.
But I've seen some other videos of this guy. He's a very aggressive player and he tends to cross-check people a little bit from what I've seen. And cross-checking, you can get a penalty for that. It's not a good idea, but he's aggressive. He's an aggressive player. Does that mean that he should be charged with a crime? I don't know.
Watching that move, yeah, I would say so, because this is an illegal move, correct? Like you can't
correct.
Try to put your skate on the opponent's neck.
But I feel like I think I watched this and I think that Adam started to fall and lean toward his leg by accident.
I don't know that he intentionally did this in murder, like to try and kill. I don't believe he did that, but he certainly does not have any sort of issue with violent behavior that does violate the rules. And there's reasons for the rules. Why? Because if you violate them, it could be dangerous and it could result in death. And if you choose to not give a shit about them and just do whatever the fuck you want to do, well, guess what? This one resulted in death, and you should now be charged with it because there's reasons, there's safety protocols and things that say you can't do this. You can't. It's just, it's not like you can go on an NFL field and like grab somebody by the helmet and try and twist their head around or something and say, whoops. It was a high kick with that,
but there's an inherent risk in hockey, especially. You've got these razor sharp instruments that you're skating on. If somebody trips and falls and their feet fly through the air and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could kill somebody with that skate.
This was not that. I'm looking at the move. He literally skated into him, raised his leg up like Mortal fucking Kombat, and did a high kick to his head.
And that's something that definitely needs to be looked at. But I think we are on a slippery slope. And granted, this is not in the United States, but I think it's going to change the way sports are performed and and the violence.
No, it won't.
Should hockey players be wearing a neck protector? I abso-fucking-lutely.
Well, sure, but maybe we've never had this problem before, so why should we all start wearing neck protectors? How about we don't just high kick people in the neck with a fucking razor skate? Wouldn't that be an easier solution right there, considering we've never had this as a problem before until today?
It would, but again, could you have a freak accident where somebody does get nailed in the neck with a skate?
Freak accident is one thing. This was not a freak accident. Looking at that video, that was not a freak accident. That man intended to get the skate up at him, to push him down, or do some sort of damage to keep him away. I'm going to
go look at the video.
This was not a freak accident. I get it. Like, if you fall down and there's a skate there, sure, I get that. But this was not that.
I'm watching it right now. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I must have seen something different. Holy
The heart-wrenching incident has prompted calls for enhanced safety measures in ice hockey. Johnson's death has sparked discussions regarding the mandatory use of neck guards, with the English Ice Hockey Association announcing plans to implement rules regarding neck protection set to take effect in 2024. How about you just fucking do it now?
Well, yeah. Why do you have to wait?
We have to wait for the bureaucracy to say, let's do it in 2024. The NHL and NHL Players Association have also engaged in discussions surrounding player safety and the use of protective equipment. How about just stop glamorizing the fucking violence of your sport? The NFL has done that, and it's gotten a bit better. I mean, fuck, there was a video game called NFL Blitz. I have the fucking arcade machine out in my other room outside of this office. And it was a fun game to play, but it was all about like excessive force in the game. And it was glamorized in the 90s as being a big thing. And then the NFL finally said, maybe we shouldn't be glamorizing this. This is a bit too much, because too many fucking people started getting hurt or killed or traumatic brain injuries. And then, of course, younger people, high school players, college players started emulating the extreme dangers and the extreme behavior that they were seeing in the NFL. And you started having high school kids getting killed. Maybe we should look at that in hockey, too. Does it make it quite as exciting? Well, maybe not what we're all used to, but maybe what the game was actually intended to be. I don't think it was intended to be a fucking bloodbath on ice. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman stated whether it's something that's mandated directly or on a phased-in basis, that's something we'll discuss with the Players Association. What were you saying?
Well, I think you're right. I mean, it's this in football, there are certain things that you can't do to the quarterback to protect them. You should not be able to raise your leg any higher than a knee. You should not be seeing a foot near somebody's neck.
There should be no fucking foot contact with the other player, period.
No, that's true. I mean, there's no kicking.
There shouldn't be kicking. There shouldn't be... No, it's just... It's not part of the game. I mean, it's part of the modern game. It's part of the Neanderthal later version of the game where we all decided that Mortal Kombat's more exciting than hockey. So let's make the game more like Mortal Kombat than actual fucking hockey. And then it starts to get a little uncomfortable too if you're watching it with your kids and shit. And it's like, oh, this fighting, this is like, I don't know. I mean, I used to kind of like it. I don't watch it much anymore because I don't know. The main criminal charge in the case is involuntary manslaughter, which involves unintentionally causing the death of another person due to recklessness, negligence, or an unlawful act. Well, that's certainly what that was. Unlike voluntary manslaughter, which involves intentional killing without prior intent, involuntary manslaughter deals with unintended deaths resulting from a failure to exercise due care. Yes, that is exactly what he just did. In assessing the situation, it's crucial to consider whether Matt Petgrave, the player responsible for the skate blade incident, intended to act, but not the outcome. While Petgrave did not have any intention to kill Johnson, his actions could be deemed reckless and negligent, which is exactly what it was. Petgrave's potential defense may include arguing that the incident was an accident, claiming he did not mean to raise his leg intentionally, but was rather affected by contact with an opposing player, causing him to lose balance and inadvertently raise his leg. Okay, well, let's see that argument. Let's see the clip again.
Questions surrounding ice hockey collision.
See, that's what I saw. I saw him possibly losing his balance and his leg came up, but I watched it from a different view. And to me, it was like, when did karate somehow enter into hockey?
He wasn't losing his fucking balance.
He was skating in a forward motion, and it looked like he had his composure. It
is what happened. It's what he did.
Oh, but how is this going to change sports? How does this change boxing when you're smacking somebody in the head?
Well, it won't. I mean, that's a totally different thing. That's the point of the sport, but you don't fucking go in with brass knuckles on boxing either. So play by the rules. It's important to note that criminal charges related to incidents on the playing field are rare, typically reserved for cases where a player clearly intended to harm another player. In this case, while Petgrave's actions were negligent, the unique nature of the incident may present challenges for prosecutors in securing a conviction. I don't know. I mean, this is I look at that video, it's pretty clear to me what he did. I don't believe he went out there on the ice and said, I really want to try and kill the opponent.
Right.
But at the same time, when you don't follow those basic rules we have in place for safety and you kill someone, well, I'm sorry, you get to then meet the Mr. Justice here, and you may end up spending some time in prison. If you can't follow the rules for that and someone dies, I'm sorry. Go to jail. No get-out-free card.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.